Yes, I am running for president.
I'm Ben Carson, and I'm a candidate for president of the United States.
All right, that makes 712 people now running for the Republican presidential nomination. All right, not quite, but you get the with Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina in tomorrow. Mike Huckabee expected to tell us that he is in, and a trio of current governors could be on the verge of getting in, and soon all but convincing me, at least, just as a numbers guy, that it will be very tough for one person to get the numbers, that is the number of delegates needed to be the Republican nominee by the time the party whoops it up in Cleveland next year. Sean Trent agrees with me. Alexander Smith and Sherry Jacobus say that I'm an idiot. Well, they don't say that, but they have far more dignity. Sherry, you just don't buy it.
No, I mean, I think it's possible it could happen, but it's not, I don't think it's likely at all. The party will coalesce around one. What you're going to do is you're going to have a few coming out of the top tier, second tier. Some of these lower tier candidates will drop out. The ones that do have some delegates up until the last minute, there'll be a lot of behind-the-scenes deal-making, but the party leaders, the donors, are not going to let it happen where we have this crowd of people going to a convention.
Well, I wouldn't like that. If the party leaders is, I don't know, this is too messy.
And what by party leaders will be also out in the states. It's not just a couple of people in Washington. So I think there'll be a lot of horse trading. The thing that's going to matter for the ones that do drop out.
I'm going to bet you a dinner at Wendy's that I'm right and you're wrong. No, Sean, my view is this, and I'm looking at strictly as a numbers guy, and the fact that we have a half a dozen candidates or so who will have or do have at least $20 million to go by. That means that's a lot of money to keep trudging on, to keep saying what you want to say. And to keep sucking up the oxygen in the room at the expense of a leader who might have an edge. And this idea that we're sort of staggering the delegate count so it's not winner take all to everybody, it makes it a tougher climb for one person to amass those delegates getting to Cleveland. What do you think?
I think that's absolutely right. And you have to throw super PAC money into the mix. I mean, in 2012, Rick Santorum made it into April with Foster Friess money and a camper. You can really do a lot. And remember, in 1996, the 8th candidate was Maury Taylor in Iowa. This year, it's going to be someone like Bobby Jindal or Chris Christie, someone of presidential caliber. So it's an incredibly deep field. There's going to be a ton of money sloshing around, and I think a lot of candidates are going to keep pushing on to see if maybe they can be in the top tier at the next race.
Then where are we when we get to Cleveland, Alexandra? What do you think?
I mean, I think that when we're talking about a brokered convention, a lot of us want to see a diversity and a debate in the party, but a brokered convention inherently means that there is a power structure in place that's deciding who our nominee should be. And I think as Republicans, the idea that just a few guys in Cleveland will decide who this person should be when we have primary and caucus goers out there, all of whom have very strong opinions about who that person should be, we really should be looking to decide this process in the primaries and the caucuses.
Yeah, but be careful. A brokered convention brought us Abraham Lincoln, right? And he beat out his team of rivals. Now, you could just say because those team of rivals dissipated in multiple ballots, but my only point, Sherry, in mentioning that is it's not intrinsically evil, and going in there with the math not favoring one person means that it is a battle royale at the convention.
Right, and the process getting there is something that we should celebrate because it's democracy. It's icky. It's uncomfortable the way it's supposed to be.
Right,
That's how our founders wanted it to be. But we
have seen victors emerge from brokered conventions.
Yeah, but by this time, look, everybody's going to have their time. We might have some breakout star in the debate stage.
You're
Don't
right.
forget that. Remember Newt Gingrich, and he had a lot of money behind him with Sheldon Adelson, and so he got to go pretty far. But I don't think in the end the party's going to let it happen. Even with this rule change, where you have to have you can argue that it makes it more difficult. I think it makes it easier for the top tier people to kind of surge forward.
Well, there's where I respect.
Still shine and
I
get
understand,
their
Sean,
positions.
but there's where I respectfully disagree because I think the fact that you have a cluster of candidates who will have a lot of cash and a lot of support, and maybe to this outside funding you alluded to, you're going to have a lot of people who aren't going to be folding like cheap suits. They're going to go to Cleveland still in those cheap suits.
Yeah, I mean, Newt Gingrich didn't win until South Carolina. He kind of came out of nowhere, and Rick Santorum went dark basically until after Iowa. He came back in some of the caucus states. I mean, with this new system in place, you can make your candidacy last longer, and I think a lot of these guys and women have been CEOs or governors of states or senators for a long time. They really believe that they should be the next president, and it's going to take an awful lot.
They're not going to quit. But
Alexander,
you don't see that happening.
Well, I mean, I think that in general, the fact that we're even having this debate showcases the diversity of candidates that are in our party. I couldn't agree more with Sean. There's a caliber to this generation of candidates that we just haven't seen in a very long time. And so I think, rules are rules. If we get to the convention and not, one person has enough delegates to be our nominee, we'll decide it there. But I think overall that's a good thing that we're going to have that debate.
That's not going to happen. These candidates are going to be releasing their delegates before that. There's going to be a lot of horse
cheeseburger, young lady,
Okay.
extra bacon.
I'm holding you to it.